Hello YouTubers. Well, in this video I've gone ahead and picked up my new cutter knife for the Macdon haybine here. After a bit of an unpleasant experience here of buying parts, as usually it is for anybody, but well, like everything is getting more and more expensive, and the quality is going down as time moves forward here. So seems to be the name of the game nowadays. Like I say, last year I had bought a brand new knife for that machine, and it's already wore out in one season, whereas I used, like I say, used to get 3 or 4 seasons, or at least 4 good seasons out of a knife before I'd wear one out. So I decided to also at the same time change some of my guards here where the sickle head main drive is next to the gearbox. That's where a lot of the pressure is. My 4 or 5 guards have got quite a bit of wear that are on the machine, so I decided to go ahead and replace and put new guards on. Now I decided to go with the OEM replacement guards instead of cheap aftermarket ones, because as we all know, the aftermarket cutter guards are usually not as high a grade of steel, or at least in the past they weren't. They wouldn't wear as long as if you had the original hardened ones from the factory. They were well, they just seemed to go season after season before I'd have to change a bunch. But anyways, so I decided to buy, like I say, 5 of the standard ones, and then one on the end here where they have what they call a ledgerless. Doesn't have this backing ledger wear. Well, whatever you want to call it. They call it a ledger, but anyways, that goes there next to the gearbox, that other special one. And these other ones here, well, I was kind of disappointed here when I got them home here, and I was looking on the back. I paid, like, because you're buying OEM guards and they're supposed to be a higher grade. I hope they are. Used to be made in Canada at one time, I believe, then the US, then they finally moved it to Mexico. And the parts guy and the one sales guy are bragging, well, you can buy cheap aftermarket guards if you want, and then be changing them every season, or buy quality North American made OEM originals. Well, flip it over, and right here, what does it say? I don't know if it'll show up on camera if there's a glare or not. India, made in India. There you go, like where all the other aftermarket guards are made. So obviously the OEM guards are no longer made in North America. They're now cheap crap made over in India, just like all the other aftermarket guards. So cost me an extra 15 bucks a guard to buy these, for made in the same, probably the same facility that makes the generic ones for everybody. So there you have it. So much for that, and that probably explains the reason why that knife doesn't last as long either, because they're probably getting made over in India there too. So don't get me wrong, some of the forged stuff that comes out of India is sometimes not too bad. It can be pretty good quality, but like everything nowadays, the manufacturers are looking for cheaper and cheaper, and they're not exactly looking to provide quality anymore, like even just a few years ago. So that knife with the bolt-on sections and half a dozen guards and a couple of wear clips, I'm going to change those too. Just only got a couple out of a whole bunch on there, but this little box of guards and that knife, that cost me over $750 here in my local market. And that's not including this drive head here. This drive head, this, with this bearing, is now over $300. And they don't include it with the knife, like I say. That's on top of. So add that into your whatchamacallit, and you're almost at $1,000 for a few wear parts. Now if I was to do all the guards and whatever, well, you're looking at big dollars there. So okay, so anyways, on these knives here, when they supply them to you, they've got these longer, you use these little bolt-on bolts here, these sections, the bolt-on sections. They got these little bolts, they're like a carriage bolt, but the difference is they've got a round shank, but they've got grippers punched into them, so when they go up through the tie strap of the plate, these grippers bite in and the bolt doesn't turn, so you can take the nut on and off without having to. There isn't a regular bolt underneath. It's a smooth back, and they've got a domed head with a little bit of a screwdriver slot in it if you need to, if it should strip out. But once they're driven into these tie straps, they rarely. I think all the years I've only had one or two ever come loose. They pretty much, once they're in there, they're in there. But they don't have enough of the long ones here for the. They're short by 4, so this drive plate here is longer on this knife head, so I have to go ahead and knock out a few of these short ones, because they have shorter ones for the regular cutter sections, and then where the head slips over the drive head here, because of course it's a thicker metal, they've got the longer ones to attach your sickle head to your drive head. So now what I have to do is, like I say, take and drive out these shorter ones. I got a piece of like a 2x2 or 1.5 by 1.5 piece of square stock with a couple of holes. I don't know what it was from, the piece of scrap iron I got here, but I'll use it as a backing here to drive them out. So what I'll do is I've got a damaged nut, one of these nuts here for it already, and I just tap them and you drive them out just like that. And that's it. And then I'll do that one. See, these are quite a bit shorter than the other longer ones for the drive head. So anyways, continue on here. I've got one more to go here, and then I got to reinstall these longer ones. I got a package of brand new ones here somewhere, but for whatever reason I think they're in the tractor. I can't find them. They're not at home here, so it doesn't matter. I'll just there we go. And by having the nut on there, I haven't damaged them. If I break, and then sometimes the odd time you will break them. They're not always. They're pretty tough, but sometimes you can bust them. So I'll just stick these in a container, what I have in the tractor, and I'll spare nuts and bolts. So anyways, this nut's done. That will go in the garbage. Go ahead and roll this over here, and then I'll reinstall the new replacement longer ones in here. And then we'll get this whole assembly together here shortly. Get everything lined up, and we'll use this block here again, and the same thing, just the reverse order, just taking literally just hammer them in just like that. One, come on, two, three, four. There we go. And just like that, now we're ready to we'll go ahead and put my sections back on here. Just like so, and then we slip this over the cutter head here. Now this sometimes takes a little bit of, these bolts aren't always, they're not perfectly lined up. They're pretty close, but they're not, just to do a little bit of tapping here and there. Okay, I'll go ahead and just going to get everything bolted down here. Now you got to be careful when you're tightening these little bolts on here. You don't overdo it because you can break them pretty easy. Not easy, but I mean you can put a fair bit of tension on them, but you don't want to overdo it and get carried away. Definitely don't want to do that. Just double checking everything, make sure everything's good. This knife head doesn't want to quite seat down all the way. But like I say, I'm going to get all my bolt and nuts on here, so we're not fighting with anything. I'm going to get a little bit of tension on them, get it sucked down. Well, got everything pre-assembled by hand here. Just going to go ahead and use my little Makita 1/2" impact, but very lightly because you can snap these off no problem. Just going to get them drawn down just like that. Just randomly in different spots in the head here. So just okay, how are we doing here? We're almost there. Now, I'm just going to put my gloves on because these sections here, these suckers are razor sharp, and if you're not careful, one slip and you'll be bleeding all over. So yeah, see, some of them are, we'll just go ahead and these little impacts, they got a lot of power to them. You got to be careful. I'm just tapping it, just ever so slight, just giving it a little rattle just to draw it down. Works good. And then I finish up, I double check with a hand wrench just to make sure. Yeah, we're good. See, there's only a couple that are just a little bit slack. Like I say, you got to be careful you don't overdo it because you can snap them off pretty easy. So, but yeah, there we go. Oh, that one, see, not quite seated. Bring it in. Now I went down went down this knife all the way and double checked, and sure enough, there's always probably 5, 6, 7 or whatever that aren't fully tensioned. There's a little bit loose, and if you don't check them, what'll happen is these sections will rattle loose, and then you bugger them up. Plus, you can bugger up your guard at the same time, so it ends up costing you a section or 2 sections, or it'll start rattling loose, and then it'll shave or break these little bolts off if it does that, especially if it gets caught in the guard somewhere. So just like I say, double check everything. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Just yeah, that one's not. There's always got to go back and check a little bit to bring the tension up on them. There we go. Just like that, we're done. So I'll pick up my few fasteners here, the extra ones here, the nuts and the little keeper bolts there, and this is ready to now load into the truck, and I'm going to go off to the field. I got some baling to do, and then later this evening I'm going to go ahead and change out those expensive guards and this expensive knife, and hopefully I can get through the rest of this season. And yeah, if it sounds like I'm complaining, well, I am, because I'm disappointed and ticked off that something that used to last me 4 seasons, and I used to do a lot more cutting than I do now. Now I have to replace pretty much every season because of lack of quality and declining lack of quality. Let's put it that way. And of course, ever rising prices. So just from last year, the price on this went up. I think like $70. It was $450 last year, and for just the knife with the sections, and this year it was well over $500 already just for this. So then add in, like I say, the guards and those couple of keeper clips, and that was over the $750 mark. So enough of that. We're going to get out to the field and get going here. And anyways, see you there.